Everyone is starting to wonder, why haven't we seen any of the websites recover from the October 2023 Google Helpful Content Update? All right, there's been a lot of chatter in the groups. For those of you that don't know, we have an SEO Algo Secrets Facebook group, and there's been a lot of questions within that group asking, why haven't we seen any of the websites recover, and why don't we know what's going on? And because of that, I thought it would be helpful to go over the Google Helpful Content System documentation to remind all of us why we're not seeing these sites recover. All right, so I wanted to remind you that within the Google Content System documentation, they remind us that the system generates a site-wide signal. So this signal is site-wide, and they're using that particular signal with many other signals to determine where your content will or won't rank. The Google Helpful Content Update that happened this last October seems to be pretty widespread, and there was a lot of damage to a lot of affiliate sites. At least that's the type of comments and chatter that I continue to read and see online. What I want to draw your attention to is, what does this system and updates to it mean for my site? And there's a nice little section under here about if your website was hit, what can you expect? So I wanted to point your attention to sites identified by the system may find the signal applied to them over a period of months. So right up front, if the signal has been applied to your site, it could be applied for a matter of months. Now, they don't say how many months. They don't say 2 months. They don't say 3 months. They don't say 4 months. It just says over a period of months. It's going to be lengthy. This is not one of those updates where you fix it and the next day rankings magically go up. And they're warning you about this with this statement. Sites identified by the system may find the signal, may, because they're not going to be definite here and give us a real answer, and it may be applied over a period of months. It says our classifier runs continuously, allowing it to monitor newly launched sites and existing sites. As it determines that the unhelpful content hasn't returned in the long term, what I want to draw your attention to is in the long term, the classification will then no longer apply. The reason why I'm stressing in the long term is to let you know there is going to be a gap of time, and we don't even know how much of time, that once your site is fixed to Google's satisfaction, let's say you magically know everything that needs to be fixed on the site, you fix it, the next day it's not going to recover or rebound. The content is being weighed in the long term to make sure the unhelpful content isn't coming back onto the site. So they're weighing this out in time. So your website had to be fully fixed, or the majority of it fixed, and it has to be fixed for the long term. That's a length of time. So we're not going to see a quick recovery on these websites. This is why we haven't heard or seen much. So the people that are working on sites like I do, we don't know if we've made the correct changes until we get through the long term, whatever the heck that means. Or if the signal's being applied for how many months, we have to wait this one out. All right, let's say you've made a whole bunch of changes to your website and now you're wondering why it won't recover. We have a period of months to get through before we're going to realize if that site is going to recover or not. So there's a lot of you out there working on site. You continue to make changes, you continue to make improvements, and then when you don't see that site bouncing back, you start to think all of your changes didn't work. And with this one, that's not going to apply here. What it means is you haven't really made it through the long term with removing that helpful content. And what that long term is, or what that period of months is, really this is very, very vague, but this is what I'm pointing to when everyone's asking, why haven't we seen sites recover? It's not possible to get hit with the Google Helpful Content Update and recover the next day. So this is why I think we haven't seen true site recoveries please come forward with definite knowledge, because we are waiting through a period of time that no one knows how long that period is or isn't. So if you're out there working on your site, don't get discouraged. We still have a period of time to get through. Now, what does this mean? Can you work on your site? Absolutely. Should you be working on your site? Yes. You should be improving your site all of the time, even if you didn't have the Google Helpful Content System applied to your site. Does that mean all of your changes aren't working? Absolutely not. It means we have a period of time to get through. This is why everyone's been so quiet. This is why no one has really broke through to say, this website is fully recovered and this is why. Those stories are missing from this particular update. And it might take a lot longer than other updates before we start seeing some of those stories begin to surface. Just know that we're in for a wait with this one.